we don't live in a world that starts from within. We live in a world that starts in the opposite way. Is we look outside and we determine then a lot of our lives that way. So in my experience, that ends up being a very complicated life, and one which can often go by without us noticing that we were alive. So we start from within, and that's how we start now, from within. So I will ask you now, I am asking you now, to connect with yourself, with your experience, to once again recognize yourself and open up to what is true for you. And notice that we don't know what's going to show up as you open yourself up to recognizing your own truth. You don't know. People, please mute yourselves wherever you are so that we can focus on this moment. Thank you. So as just happened, there is a lot of things happening on the outside which tend to draw us to the outside. So we must develop the muscle to actually begin from the inside, because otherwise we're going to be in Disney World forever. And so we come back to the now, to what is true for you. And I was saying that we don't know what we're going to see, so we are actually present in the mystery of the present moment, which may be the last moment of our lives as we know it, because we don't know. So we pay attention with a whole lot of interest and curiosity and see what is potentially revealed to us in this moment. So I will then be quiet for a moment so that you can actually sense your experience with whatever it is that is showing up for you, whatever it is that is revealing itself for you. And we welcome every moment as it is. Even with our distractions, because sometimes it takes a while to settle into our present experience from the outside busyness of our lives. and we sense into our bodies as the anchor to our attention, because it is here and now. It is the body is pulsating in an experiential way. There is no qualification of the experience. It's just what it is. And we train our muscle to pay attention. And with this orientation, then we emerge in our lives into the possibility that we are in whatever it is that we decide we want to do. So before we open our eyes, I'm going to ask you guys to put your hands on your eyes and cover your eyes. And as you take a look into the infinite reality without any qualification, then you look into yourself as an infinite possibility. Perhaps it's a point in the distant infinite that you see. And as you settle into this infinite possibility, then we emerge into our world. So I'll ask you now to open your eyes and be with each other. Be here as you are into that infinite self. So our community has been on a trend which has brought up some subject matters like vulnerability and fear, and within that is like, what is it that we're doing here? What is co-creation? What is the definition of being in a collaborative space where we're actually present to the moment, but as a community, not only as individuals, but we actually are here, like we are right now, with a sense of aliveness, not knowing what will emerge in any particular moment, but we are at least present to the best of our capacity. And as we join those two poles that Jeannette was referring to at the beginning, which is, oh, so if we are indeed unknown, if our infiniteness is not really something to determine, something to be determined, something to be kind of put in a box, then we're constantly in the experience of us as an unfolding potential. And therefore, when we pay attention to the other pole, which is creating outcomes, creating whatever it is that we are deciding is important to us. So it might be a LinkedIn message, or it might be a the next running shoe that we're designing, and we want to have offer that to the world, or it may be a service that we're interested in providing to people. Whatever it is that you're interested in creating, then it's like the other pole. So you are the creator, and then there is a creation that you're interested in. But between that creator and the creation is the collaboration between the creator and that possibility that you're interested in creating. So there is a collaboration that's happening. And my observation is that people start from the creation to figure out who they are, as if that's going to work. It's like, let's first create, let's first reach our goals so that I can feel like worthy, or like I am valuable, or that I can actually belong to something. I can be, invited into the table of life as a worthy human being. And in the history of humanity, that has never worked. But we keep insisting in that. It's like, no, let's go back to the creation. And in fact, we've become really good at it. We're incredibly smart and, agile in terms of creating things. And pretty soon, as we engage in that belief system that once we create it, then everything is fine, we realize that it really becomes an addiction. Like, well, I guess it didn't give me what I wanted, so I'll create something else, and something else, and something else, and something else. And pretty soon, nobody's collaborating on anything. It's just about the creation and about like making sure that everybody's creating, but nobody really is collaborating. As the definition that I'm giving about collaboration here is that we don't only collaborate about the creation, we collaborate with each other so that we can actually feel valuable, and that we can be mirrors to each other, to our worthiness, or to our real value as human beings. So if you think of these as two poles, right? And you base your collaboration on whether or not you can help me create what I want to create, then I'm not really valuing you. I'm just saying, what do you know about what I need to create? And if you don't know it, then I don't need you. I'll go to the next person, and I'll just find the right people that help me create my outcome. But I'm not really valuing anybody. It's just, right? Mira, yeah. So we wonder why we are in these kinds of relationships that are so conditional, like lack of trust and lack of, bad communication. And then the world, of course, comes up with solutions like, well, I'll teach you how to communicate. I'll teach you how to give feedback. I'll teach you how to be vulnerable. I'll teach you how to be calm. And then you ask the question, well, why are you teaching me this? So that I can help you create what you want, or that you can help me create what I want? Is that the whole story? Well, that's true as well, yeah. Yeah, I'll teach you so that you can give me your money, so that I can then become known for helping others, so that I can get richer and I can become more important, and I can find more people that want to be more important as well along the way, and we can all be important together, and then we'll create a sorority or a fraternity that all full of important people, and we'll feel good, and then pretty soon I'll get tired of you, so I'll create another fraternity and another sorority, because you guys aren't useful for me anymore. So, in essence, that's where we're living, in this kind of a humanity. And we even use this terminology or the concepts of spirituality, like, discovering the essence of human nature. But pretty soon, if you don't agree with the ideology that the people who are teaching that process of discovering your nature, then you're not going to be accepted into a group either. So in essence, I don't have to go any more into it. In essence, it's a lot of pressure to live in, basically. It's complicated, and we cannot blame ourselves for being so externally oriented. It's just the way we're raised. It's the whole business world is based on that concept of, like, pay attention to the object that I'm selling you. And by the way, I'm going to tell you that if you don't buy the object, you're not good. So you need to buy the object to feel good. So constantly we're being bombarded by this kind of commercial offer and all of that. So here we are joining two poles, the being, or the evolutionary invitation, right? And then the other pole, which is your work, or the thing that you do, or the thing that we do in order to pay the bills, in order to buy the food that we like, and all of that stuff. Well, in this community and in the work of the 7 Roots of Potential that I have insisted on for 30 years or more, we actually start from the evolution, and we don't sacrifice ourselves for the sake of the creation. It takes courage to do that, because you first have to fight against the pattern that is out there. And so that takes courage. Like, you're not going to be that popular. In other words, you're not going to be the most accepted person in the group. But the other part that requires courage is for you to face your own addiction to the outside. And when we don't find it, we start becoming nervous, because it's like, oh, well, I don't want to be in my own inner world that long until I become impatient. And then I start feeling like I need to do something. So it takes a lot of courage. And I've been talking about that, or I wrote a little piece on in our community, but I've also been speaking about it otherwise, that fear is normal, that we are going to face fear. It's not like it's a problem. Like it is part of the journey. The thing is that if we face fear as a problem, right? Then of course we're going to be sold solutions to getting rid of your fear. The market is filled with those solutions, all kinds of approaches to how you can get rid of your fear. Wow. So the courage to face the world, the courage to be in your authentic experience without somebody else telling you that you're wrong, it takes courage. And kind of like they both go hand in hand. To face your fear, it takes courage, because really at the end of the day, you're the one who needs to face the fear. It's not someone else, it's you. So the thing is that if we emerge in relationship with that kind of compassion for each other, like, oh, Anna faces fear. Roger Totti faces fear. Patricia faces fear. Anna faces fear, etc. It's like, I don't need to, you don't need to hide. You could just be who you are. Like, yeah, of course we're facing fear. What do we think? That we are some sort of alien person that is not going to face fear? No, that doesn't exist. So we face the fear, and we don't try to help people face their fear by telling them almost like everything will be okay. That's almost like saying, like, I'm sorry for you. I hope you get out of your fear soon, or something like that. And as opposed to, I think, a few million years ago, when people went out into the world to actually earn their lives, and everybody was fine. You didn't know what was going to happen, but people fought for themselves. They actually developed the capacity to live. It wasn't like questioned. Like, oh, you're going to have to go hunt now? Oh, poor you. I'm sorry that you're going to have to become stronger now and smarter. So somehow we've become so comfortable in our society that we think that life owes us something. That, how come I'm selling something and people aren't buying it? Oh, wow, that's a problem. Why should it be a problem? Why are we so comfortable that we think that what we're selling is immediately going to be bought? No, of course it's not going to be bought. So we have to find a way that we can become warriors of our service, warriors of our products, warriors of our businesses. Of course you're going to be declined. It's like the athlete who goes out there and says, I can't believe the other guy or the other team is trying to win. Like, oh, yeah, that's the game. So in some ways, what we're building here is warriorship. It's a sense of courageous determination that you can be who you are and not have to apologize for anything. And when somebody shows up along the way that tells you that you're wrong, that you need this, and that you're not enough, and you say, yeah, of course that's going to happen. So yeah, that's why the ability to partner, right, as a root is hugely important, because it gives you the foundation of everything. So you learn to partner with yourself so that you can actually see yourself um, recognize yourself. And because you'll never end, you'll never finish recognizing yourself. So you don't do it as I'm going to recognize myself so that I can go out and be more successful. No, it doesn't work. You recognize yourself so that you can actually see where you are. Like you can be in reality. It's not just some sort of fantasy world that we're living in. We are actually real. Like we recognize what we need to do next. We don't go to our goals and say, well, how come I didn't achieve my goal today? You know, no. We go moment to moment into the direction that most energizes us, and we learn to face our fears, but not because we are victims, but because we are rooted in the authentic experience that we're living, and we don't apologize for it. I think that's the source of warriorship. You know, the determination of a human being that is not going to be denied by anything, is going to surrender to their commitment to bring the best of themselves forward in the face of fear, in the face of failure. Because of course the failure doesn't determine you. What is the problem with failure? Like, okay, you fail. We fail. And we win too. But the win doesn't determine us either. We just play the game to the best of our ability. So just wanted to share that with you guys. You know, it is a relationship with yourself, so that we in our community, we can welcome each other as we are, so that we can actually be examples of the work we're trying to do. That's why we also say, do not offer something that you cannot embody, because then that's just contributing to the problem. Offer something that you actually know inside your body, that you fight for every day, that you are aware of, that you can actually energize people to do the same for themselves. So ability to partner. I'm focusing on the ability to partner as the foundation of all of these that I'm talking about right now. And that's why I don't offer techniques particularly or formulas. It's not about that. It's about you finding your own way. And yes, nobody said that the extraordinary was going to be comfortable. And nobody said that the impossible wasn't going to take a while. But that's where we are. So now you guys can share, and you know, of course, that's what we want, is to hear from you and to learn together, to collaborate. You can ask questions, you can make comments, you can offer reflections, you can clarify something that you're thinking about. And that's what we do in this community. We come together for this. You know, I also spoke during the conversation about a revelation, you know, like what might be revealed to you. And so we're not going to find anything revealing itself in the outcomes of our lives. That's not going to happen. That's why that caterpillar says to the other caterpillar, I am afraid of going into that, like Patricia is smiling, because she pointed out in a cartoon, something like that, where it's like, yeah, I don't know, I feel a little fearful of going into that cocoon. And the other one says, well, I don't know, I mean, do you see ourselves after all these years remaining where we are? Isn't that kind of like a worse tragedy than the fear of going into that cocoon? And the cartoon ends right there. But in a way, we're talking about very similar matters here. It's like you enter your being with courage. Even you might feel like petrified of your own transformation. It's true. But what can be revealed to you is really your right. You have that. That's why I think we become emotional, and that's why we create this community, because I feel we all have the right to live the lives that dignify us. And we as human beings have the joy of seeing somebody live a dignified life is, I think, one of the deepest joys that anybody can ever witness. So, of course, we have to do it for our own selves. Nobody can do it for us. So we collaborate so that we can have the courage to get into our cocoon, to see what happens, like the caterpillar, and then look at the creation that emerges from there. But if we're focused mostly on the outcome, waiting for the outcome to tell us who we are, I'm afraid we're going to wait another trillion years until maybe we'll learn the lesson. So in our community, we don't want to wait trillion years. We want to see that magic in this lifetime.